Good afternoon, welcome to the Knit Shift episode 110. My name is Laura and today is Friday, July 27th, 2018. Thank you so much for joining me today, whether we have hung out before or it is your first visit to the Knit Shift. Like I said, I'm Laura. I live in Virginia, outside of Washington, D.C. with my boyfriend Josh, our dog Gracie, and a whole lot of yarn. If you are watching this for the first time, it's probably because you stumbled across it in related videos with other knitting podcasts, so thank you very much for being here. There's a bajillion and one knitting podcasts out here, and any more these days I feel like everyone is so busy, so I do really appreciate you choosing to spend a little bit of your day with me, and I tend to keep my episodes pretty short, 15-20 minutes if I can, and hopefully you'll be able to get the most out of your day. So yeah, it's been I think 2 weeks since I last recorded, which these days every 2 weeks is like, hey, all right, I'm staying on schedule. Life's been pretty busy in the past 2 weeks. My parents were here last weekend, and I have an out-of-town guest arriving tomorrow. Although she's not staying with me, she's staying with a friend. We're meeting up at my place tomorrow, and we're kind of show around. We're gonna do some things in Washington and all that, so I'll be occupied for a lot of my weekend. So yeah, so I'm enjoying my day at home. It's threatening thunderstorms out there. It's been really rainy in DC lately. We've gotten like 9 or 10 inches of rain in the past week or two, which is really quite a bit, probably a record high. And so after I film this, I'm just gonna enjoy my day and relax and knit a little more. I'm weirdly very sleepy today. I took a Benadryl about 3 hours ago. I was stupid and for some reason forgot to take my regular everyday allergy medicine this week. And I've been a little itchy here and there, and then I woke up today and like my eyes were swollen and my neck was really itchy and it was red, and so I had to take a Benadryl, and I'm on the struggle bus right now, you guys. I am so sleepy. I feel like I can barely keep my eyes open. So if I sound a little out of it, that's why. And I might take a nap after this, if I'm totally honest. So, so that's what I'm up to, and I'll talk a little bit more about that kind of personal stuff at the end of the episode, including more about my parents' visit, which was wonderful. So I have a couple works in progress to share with you this week. I'm going to show you an update on a sock project I'm knitting. I've got 2 commute socks going right now. That's it for my whips today. Not a ton to share with you. Oh, I have to tell you all of the administrative stuff. Show notes are found at theknitshift.com. This episode is on iTunes and YouTube. If you search for The Knit Shift in either place, you'll find us. There is a Knit Shift group on Ravelry. You should come on over. We're doing a knit along for a sweater, which I'll talk about in a second. I am on Ravelry as Yarnstormer. I am on Instagram as Laura Mahalski, so please do friend me, follow me on those 2 social media platforms. I would love that. And as for the knit along, it started July 1st. And it's basically called the Finish That Sweater Knit Along. It could be starting a sweater from scratch. It could be finishing a lingering whip. No real restriction. I don't think baby sweaters will count because they're so tiny, but basically, you know, large child up to adult, it counts. So it'll run through October 1st. No pattern, just a sweater, basically. Cardigan, pullover, colorwork, whatever you want to do, just a sweater. So that's it for the administrative stuff. So let me catch you up on my work in progress. This first sock I'm carrying around in a Bink Waffle bag, one of 2 that I own, and both of the whips I'm showing you today are in my Bink Waffle bags. I am knitting this lovely pair of socks out of, I said the wrong name last week. I said Unwind Yarn Company when it's actually Sunrise Fiber Co. It's the Indelible Sock Base, and it's the colorway Holy Festival. And it's this beautiful variegated shade. And I finished the first sock, which you saw last week. This is just my standard vanilla sock recipe. I'm using a size 0 needle because it is rather thin yarn. Beautiful yellows and greens and pinks and purples. I love how the tone knit up especially. I wish that kind of patterning had kept going, but no such luck. And so last week I had cast on the second sock and was not super far, but here's where I am on the second sock. I have knit the entire foot, and I am literally about to start the heel turn. So I'm knitting these on my ChiaoGoo needles, which I love. I talk about them all the time. And not much to say about this, just another sock. Love it very much. Loving the yarn. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna keep these for myself. I don't think I'm going to give these away. So yeah. So that's one pair of commute socks I've been working on. I started another pair ahead of my parents' visit because I thought I might want a sock. I thought I was gonna be further ahead on the sock I just showed you, and I didn't wanna have to turn the heel while my parents were here. So I started another sock, but as it turns out, I really didn't need to worry about that because I only got to the heel just yesterday on this sock. So I picked up something that was already wound up in my stash, and it's yarn that I dyed at a yarn festival in Pittsburgh 3 or 4 years ago in March. And I took a yarn dyeing class from a dyer, and we basically painted the yarn, and I wanted something kind of speckly. I mean, everyone got a natural base, and then I speckled it with pink and black and a little bit of purple and green and blue, and I'm really happy with how this is knitting up. Isn't that fun? I can't believe that I dyed this yarn myself. I'm really happy with this. I had started knitting this yarn into a shawl, but I was not loving the way it was knitting up. Also using size 0 needles. These are, I believe these are Hiya Sharps. Not my favorite because the needles, the tips have bent a little bit, but not too bad. So yeah, really happy with how this is knitting up. I knit a lot of this last night. Josh and I went to see Mission Impossible Fallout, which I cannot believe is the 6th movie in that film series, but it is. I have not seen numbers 4 or 5, but I saw 1, 2, and 3, I'm pretty sure. Definitely 1 and 2. So I highly recommend this movie. I don't even remember the first few movies, but the one last night, the movie Fallout, it was so good. Highly recommend if you like action movies. Although honestly, the whole time I was watching it, I was like, Tom Cruise, you are too old for this. I know that sounds really ageist and kind of jerky, but I mean, just why can't they reboot the series with like a younger Ethan Hunt? The whole time he was doing all of the, and you know, he prides himself on doing his own stunts, which, you know, more power to him. That's amazing, especially because he's like, what, 56, 57, 60, I don't know, he's about there. You know, and that's not old, but I just feel like he does these crazy physical things, and I'm like, oh honey, why are you doing that? Oh, that looks really painful. Oh, just put some Bengay on it. Just take a break. Like, why do you feel like you have to prove yourself? You're awesome and you kick butt, you know, in these movies. You don't have to do all your stunts. That's where it's coming from. I'm not saying put him out to pasture, you know, as an actor or anything like that. I digress. So go see the movie, highly recommend it. That's another reason I'm dragging. We went to a 10:40 movie and we didn't get home till almost 2 a.m. Josh took a vacation day today. It's my Friday, but that's another reason I'm dragging a little bit. Excuse me. So that is it for my works in progress. If you can believe it, this is gonna be a pretty short and sweet episode, I think. Did a little work on some other projects, but not enough to really share my progress with you. So I've been in a little bit of a knitting funk, and we all get in those sometimes. I think mine stems from the weather, because it's been really hot and muggy and humid here. It stems from some personal life stress, which I'll talk a little more about, but I won't get super into detail with. And I'm feeling quite stagnant in my knitting. Like, I want to knit something new, but then I feel like it's just so insurmountable to finish it that, like, why should I even start something new? So I'm just kind of sticking to my socks, which are my commute project, which I knit, you know, I knit on a little bit every day of my socks. So that's kind of where my knitting is right now. I'm sorry there's not a ton of knitting content today, guys. So that brings me to talking about just life in general, odds and ends. Like I said, there's just been a lot going on. Like, I am fine. My life is fine. My job is wonderful and amazing, but I've had a lot of friends and family struggling with stuff, mostly health stuff, really difficult stuff, and it's been kind of hard to stay positive and happy when you hear a lot of really sad news, you know, from people you care about, and there's not much you can do. So I'm trying to focus on the positives and be happy when I get happy, things to be happy about, because life is what you make of it. You have to choose to be happy when good things happen to you, and so that's what I'm trying to do. Oh, Gracie is crying because she wants to go outside. Thank you, Grace. I know you have thoughts on that process, on that topic. So, like, yeah, my job is amazing. It's wonderful. A project I worked on in the fall. This is the story about the opioid crisis that won a Peabody Award, and I went to the Peabody Awards in May. It just got nominated for 2 national Emmys, which is amazing and wonderful, and I'm so thrilled about that. That just happened yesterday, and yesterday at the office, you know, I work at the Washington Post, and a few months ago, like soon after I started, it was like a weekend, I think it was a Sunday afternoon, and I saw this man kind of come around the corner, and I promise there's a point to this story. This man kind of stuck his head around the corner near my desk, and I just happened to be sitting and like pondering a headline I was writing, so I was kind of staring in his direction, like, you know when you just stare beyond someone or something and you don't even see them come into your line of vision? Like, that's how it was. And then I kind of focused on his face, and you know, we smiled at each other, and before I realized it, he kind of ducked and turned away again, and I was like, I think that was Bob Woodward. But I only saw him for half a second, and then I tried to casually like take a lap of the newsroom. Didn't see him again. So the whole time my mind was like playing tricks on me, like, you didn't actually see Bob Woodward, you know. And if you don't know who Bob Woodward is, he and Carl Bernstein were the reporters who reported on the Watergate break-in, did the reporting that led to President Nixon's resignation. They are legends in the journalism world. So yesterday I was at my desk eating my dinner, which is where I always eat my dinner, eating a salad, and I'm like, have a fork full of arugula halfway to my mouth, and there's no pretty way to eat a salad. And this man in a suit comes into my line of vision and walks right behind me, and where my desk is, I sit near the PR department, like the company's PR department, and I sit by some of the top editors in the newsroom. And as I'm taking my salad, I'm like, okay, that really is Bob Woodward walking right behind me. And, you know, I played it cool, and I'm not starstruck. Like, when I went to the Peabody Awards and saw all these celebrities, I was a little nervous, but like, celebrities are people just like you and me, you know, everyone puts on their pants one leg at a time. I'm not easily impressed, but Bob Woodward is very impressive. He's a legend in the field I work in. So he kind of like goes 2 people beyond me, and he kind of stops and he says, "It's so quiet in here. Why is it so quiet in the newsroom?" And we do work in a rather quiet newsroom. I mean, it was like 6 p.m., so it was a little quieter than, you know, had it been midday. But to hear him say that was just like a highlight of my life, to hear Bob Woodward say this about our quiet newsroom, which it's not the same building he worked in 40-some years ago. They moved buildings a couple years ago, so I never got to visit the original Post's office. The original office of the Post. So that was pretty amazing, and I regularly pinch myself in my job that I get to do the things I do and get to work on the stories I work on. I feel so grateful and happy to get to do the work that I do. It really is a dream job. I'm so happy there. I'm so fulfilled there. I couldn't be happier with the move that we made almost a year ago. A year ago next week was my last day at the, a year ago next Sunday was my last day at the pilot, I think. Or close to it. It was August 2nd was my last day. So I can't believe I left almost a year ago. I can't believe I started almost a year ago at the Post. So I feel very, very fortunate. It's not luck, I feel fortunate to be here, that I get to experience these crazy things. So I'm trying to focus on the positives of my job. My niece is starting to walk, and she's just so cute. I didn't talk about it at all on this podcast, but my brother was out of the country for some time for work. He is in the military, and it was a deployment of some nature, but it was not one I could talk about. So he had been to Afghanistan previously. That was a more traditional deployment. This was a different circumstance. And so it's been really hard for my family while he was away. It's been hard for his family. You know, my sister-in-law is such a rock star and she was a single mom for, you know, more than 6 months. And my brother's home now, which is wonderful. So it's been tough. I mean, some of my family members have just dealt with some really hard things, and I won't get into it beyond that. So I'm trying to focus on the positives, enjoy the happy things as they come, because life is short and you have to make the most of the time you have. So that's kind of been the thing I've been thinking about a lot over the past few weeks, and I hope that makes sense. So with that in mind, something else that was very happy making was my parents' visit this past weekend. Back in March, I bought tickets to see Hamilton. I bought 2 tickets. I had been hoping to take my sister-in-law, but for circumstances I won't get into, she couldn't come. So I invited my mom instead. And she said yes. So I bought the tickets in March, and so I've heard the soundtrack. I know 4 or 5 of the songs quite well, but I didn't listen to it on end and on a repeat loop. My sister-in-law is a huge Hamilton fan, loves it, so that's why I asked her first. My mom was not especially familiar with it either, only secondhand through my sister-in-law. So we had a brunch date. So first off, they got here Friday morning. We went to the Nats game Friday night, we had amazing weather for July. It was not hot or humid, it was practically cold. Once the sun went down, it was amazing. And just a lovely day. And so Saturday afternoon we had tickets to the matinee of Hamilton. So my mom and I went to brunch on Saturday, which was lovely, and we went in DC, and then we went to Hamilton. And you guys, it was one of the highlights of my life, seeing this musical. It was so good. I feel like I'll get emotional talking about it. And okay, for the record, I am a huge curmudgeon and a contrarian. Like I feel like I'm very much a contrast, because I wear my heart on my sleeve about a lot of things, but if something is popular, I like to be a curmudgeon and be like, I don't know about that. So I had friends that would go on and on and on about Hamilton, whether they had seen the music or not. And I do think the music is I did think the music, okay, this is a really good musical, clearly this is written well. And I was like, all right, what's the big deal? I'll buy tickets. It's expensive, I know, but I'll buy the tickets, and I just kind of want to get the chance to go and see it. So it blew me away. The stage setup is very simple, but they have these 2 rotating platforms. Like, it's almost like a turntable, but then it's a turntable within a turntable. So the circles, you know, are concentric, and you know, they can rotate in different directions and at different speeds, and it makes everything so seamless. And the cast is the ones changing out the seating, and the choreography is stunning. It's so that instead of like changing scenes and you come back and there's a whole new set, and while this curtains dropped and it was dark for 2 minutes, they're changing the set as they're performing, and it's so seamless, and it's like a fine-tuned ballet. It's unbelievable. So my mom and I loved it. We really loved it. And after we finished, I was like, and so it's at the Kennedy Center, and it's here from mid-June through mid-September. And I was like, I really want to see it again. And there is a lottery system. They sell, I think, 20 or 40 front row seats every day in a lottery for $10 a piece. Of course, it's a lottery. It's going to be really hard to win because the odds are stacked against you, but I'm entering it. And, but I was like, I really want to see it again. So I did a little schedule coordination with work, and I bought a ticket to go see it in 3 weeks. I'm seeing it again in mid-August, and I cannot wait. I can't believe it. I feel so fortunate that I did it. It was a struggle to buy it because it was not cheap. You know, it's a very expensive purchase. But I was like, I need to seize this opportunity while I can, while it's in Washington, D.C. I just know that it'll make me so ridiculously happy to get to see it again. So I plunked down the cash and I did it. So I'm thrilled about that. I cannot wait. And then the very next day, I took my car in for its state inspection. Virginia has yearly inspections, and found out I needed to buy a new suspension for my car. So that was a very pricey purchase. And I don't regret purchasing the Hamilton ticket, but I was just like, I'm really glad that I bought the Hamilton ticket and then this happened, because otherwise I might have been talked myself out of buying the ticket had I paid 4 digits for car repairs in the first place. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. We had a lovely visit with my mom and dad, and I don't know the next time I'll see them, but we had a really nice weekend. It was really good. So so that's what I've been up to. I don't think I have a lot more to share with you otherwise. I'm going out of town next weekend. My mom is one of 10, and I have 19 first cousins. You know, so my grandma had 21 grandkids when you factor in me and my brother. And so I had this idea after my grandma died last September to have a girls' weekend with my female cousins, and like female spouses of cousins too. Like, you know, my cousin Eli, his wife Tina is invited, that kind of thing. So so I basically organized the whole trip and talked to my cousins, see who might be interested, and then I booked a house for a weekend in August. So next weekend, we're there Friday through Monday. We're in the Winchester, Virginia area, and 11 of us are going, and it's gonna be so much fun. We're really excited. I think we're gonna have an amazing time. We're bringing all of our food. Basically just gonna hang out in the cabin and have snacks and play board games and just BS and talk, and it'll be so nice. I think my grandma would be really happy that we're doing this. She would just think it's the best. So I'm super stoked. I know my cousins are super stoked, and I think it'll be exactly what I need. So I'm really looking forward to that. Well, look at that. This is already like a 24-minute episode. That's fantastic. So I think with that, I am going to end this episode. I'll be back in a few weeks, hopefully 2 weeks. I don't know, we'll see. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. I will talk to you guys hopefully in 2 weeks. And until the next time we chat, happy stitching, happy knitting, happy doing all the things that make you happy. I will see you soon. Bye.